Hello everyone, so I hope you all are doing great. So today we'll discuss about resources and development of class 10 geography. So what are you waiting for? Like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. So let's begin. Wait a minute. So resources. Wait a minute, please. Wait a minute. So here, yes. What is resources? Sometimes which can be used to satisfy our needs. That is all resources. That can be technological accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable. Is referred as resources. So here now let's see next. So what are the classifications of resources? Here resources are classified into, you can see here, natural. Natural is again divided into renewable and non-renewable. Then renewable resources is divided into, you can see here, continuous flow and biological. So now again it is also divided into natural vegetation, then wildlife. Now non-renewable resources is divided into recyclable, non-recyclable. Again I have told that it is divided into two parts. Resources are divided into two parts. One is natural and one is human. Let's see the human part. Now human part is divided into structures and instructions and quantity and quality. So what are natural resources? Natural resources, as you have learned in class 8, natural resources are those resources which are created by the nature. Which are created by the nature. For example, land, water, wildlife, atmosphere, etc. So what is natural resources? That are created by the nature. Land, water, wildlife, atmosphere, etc. So it is called natural resources. Now, what is resources have been classified on the various, wait a minute, on the basis of ownership. So ownership. Now what are renewable resources? Renewable resources are those resources which can be renewed or recycled or reproduced by physical or chemical processes, are known as renewable resources. For example, forest, solar energy, wind energy, etc. are the examples of renewable resources which can be renewed, recycled, or reproduced by physical or chemical processes. Now, what are non-renewable resources? So, non-renewable resources are those resources which take millions of years, in their formation and are cannot be renewed or reproduced. ये renewed नहीं हो सकता, reproduce नहीं हो सकता. This is called non-renewable resources. Here there is typing mistake as renewable, but it will be non-renewable resources. For example, coal, petroleum, and natural gas are the examples of non-renewable resources. Now, what are biotic resources? So these are obtained from biosphere and have life, such as abiotic and biotic have learned in science also. So biotic is from biosphere. Example: flora, fauna, livestock, fisheries, etc. Now, what is abiotic? Non-living things are abiotic. So, for example, rock, metals are the examples of abiotic resources. What is individual resources? Are those resources which are operated by an individual. इंडिविजुअल रिसोर्सेज आर दोज रिसोर्सेज विच आर ऑपरेटेड बाय इंडिविजुअल. एक आदमी जो जिसको संभालता है, जैसे लेक हो, पॉन्ड्स हो, वाटर इन वेल हो, कुआं, जमीन, वो सब एक इंडिविजुअल संभालता है. इंडिविजुअल का पर्सनल जमीन होता है, तो दैट आर कॉल्ड इंडिविजुअल रिसोर्सेज. इन सब रिसोर्सेज में पब्लिक का कोई हाथ नहीं होता, गवर्नमेंट का कोई हाथ नहीं होता है. बट कम्युनिटी ओन रिसोर्सेज, what are these? These are managed by all the members of a community, like burial ground, public parks, public picnic spots, public parks are the example of community owned resources. So what are national resources? National resources are those resources which are related to particular nation. Land resources are within the political boundaries or oceanic resources up to 12 nautical miles. And then what are the examples of here? Minerals, forest, wildlife, oceanic resources are the example of national resources. Now, international resources. What are international resources? Are those resources which are managed by international institutions. So these are managed by international institutions. They belong to various nations of the world. For example, oceanic resources and petroleum, etc. Now, on the basis of status of development, wait a minute. You can see here, on the basis of status of development, potential resources, in here stock resources, developed resources, and here reserved resources. What are reserved resources? Forest, water, mineral are the example of reserved resources. Then developed soil, aviation. Then stock resources, hydrogen and oxygen in water are stock resources. And what are potential resources? Solar and wind energy in Gujarat and Rajasthan are example of potential resources. Now here the definition of potential resources you can see here. So what are potential resources? Potential resources are those resources whose quality and quantity is unknown because of lack of technology. Stock resources are those material in the environment which have the potential to satisfy the human needs, but human beings do not have the appropriate technology to access this. Now, what are stock resources? Resources which are surveyed and the quality and quantity have been determined and for utilization. The development of resources depends on the technology and level of feasibility. Stock resources are a subset of the stock which can be put into the use of with the help in existing technical know-how, but these has not been started. This can be used for meeting the future requirements. Development of resources. It is a process of developing the resources in order to make them useful for satisfying human wants. Some resources cannot be used directly. They have to be processed to make them useful for satisfying our wants. If, for example, land has to be cleared for growing crops. Water has to be taken to fill the irrigate for irrigation purposes. So what are the problems created by the indiscriminate use of resources by human? Many resources are depleted, like forest. Resources got accumulated in the hands of few people. The society is divided into rich and poor. Global warming, ozone layer depletion, environmental degradation are the other problems of indiscriminate use of resources by man. What is sustainable development? Very important question. What is sustainable development? The economic development which does not damage the environment at the same time takes care the need of future generation is called development. So why it is important? Many of the resources are non-renewable or exhaustible. Overexploitation of these resources will affect the needs of our future generation. Environmental pollution has become a major threat to the survival of human beings. Resources. Resource planning is a technical or skill of proper utilization of resources. Stages of resource planning: identification of and listening of resources, planning for exploitation, poor in some other resources, like Rajasthan is poor for water but rich in solar and wind energy. Some regions are self-sufficient while the other regions are very poor in important resources, like Madhya Pradesh is rich in many resources, but Ladakh is poor of resources. Wastage of resources can be avoided in planning. Environmental pollution can be reduced. Overexploitation of resources can be avoided. Now, resource conservation. So why it is necessary? It is necessary because many of resources are non-renewable and exhaustible. If we conserve them, we can use them for a longer period of time. Conservation of resources help us to reduce the wastage. It will help in economic progress. Now, resource conservation helps in us to protect the environment. Helps us to protect the environment. Now, what are the ideas of Gandhiji about the conservation of resources? According to Gandhiji, there is enough for everybody's need, but not for everybody's greed. So, greedy and selfish individuals are the exploitative nature in modern technology and are the root cause of resources. He was against the mass production and wanted to replace it with the production of masses. So I hope you like this session. Then like this session and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you everyone. Good day ahead.